Hi everyone, Adele from Your Healing Path and Soul Purpose Awakening. I hope you get to tune in and watch this last part of the 4-part series that I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. And as always, if you're catching this, just give me a reaction or a comment to let me know. It's always nice to know that this is getting out there to the people who need to hear it. Part 4, healing. It's kind of like the Holy Grail, right? Everyone is after the healing. That's, once you have an awakening, an awareness of what you want to do with your life, you become aware of the amount of healing that needs to take place. And as we worked our way through this series, and I spoke about clarity, and then focus last week as well was about cognitive understanding. I see those as being the key milestones or key stepping stones, really, of getting to healing. Now, the thing with, I think that where I kind of, maybe where I'm a little bit less popular with my idea of healing than potentially a lot of other people might be, is that I believe that the strongest part of healing is, hi Tanya, absolutely the strongest part of you healing is not just receiving a healing, it's becoming your own healer. It's becoming the person that knows more about you than anyone else. It's not just, and this is where I come unstuck with my approach to healing, because I don't believe, whether it's for myself or with anyone else, that you just receive healing. Hey, K-Ray. Yes, you can, but so often, not always, but so often, that can just be a Band-Aid. See, and that's where it might rub people the wrong way. My solid belief is that your truest healing comes from you understanding you. Now, there's a few examples I can give you with this. The one I'm going to go with, you might notice I'm kind of puffy again. Now, I'm experiencing a ridiculous amount of allergic reactions at the moment that involve swelling up and welts on my skin and all that sort of lovely stuff. And it's been going on for about 4 or 5 weeks. And, I've backtracked. I've tried to work out what it is. I kind of know what it is. Now, I did go to a doctor today. I have no problem with doctors. I don't. What I have a problem with is just blindly following anyone, and that includes the medical profession, without first having an understanding, or as part of the process, gaining an understanding of what's going on for yourself. As a result of that, I'm going to go through, I'm going to undergo this barrage of different tests to find out what's actually going on, what my allergens are. But before going to the doctor this morning, I sat down and I backtracked every event I could remember that involved anything to do with my allergies, because it is my strongest belief that you are your best. You know yourself better than anyone else. If you can pinpoint and track the events that led to X, Y, Z, you're going to be further ahead in your own knowledge than just going somewhere, whether it be a doctor, whether it be a naturopath, whether it be a healer, whether it be anyone else. If you at least try and get an understanding of how you arrived at a particular point, you're already ahead of the game. And whoever you seek out for healing, in whatever form that takes, is going to complement that process. So when we're talking about healing, now I do an astounding amount of healing, both hands-on and online. What's interesting to me is that I'm doing less and less of it because I'm understanding the importance more and more of the person being given the reins to their own life. Now, to that end, I'm going to share with you 2 people that are coming towards the end of the 6-week intensive. Now, we have a weekly group celebration call. Those 2 people this morning pretty much said, I don't really have anything to celebrate. And I kind of went, what? And the words that were used were, my celebration is I don't have anything to celebrate. And I kind of went, I don't. You got to explain that to me. And it makes complete sense. The celebration is they didn't have anything they had to overcome in the last week. They didn't have any triggers. They didn't have anything that set them on their ass. They got through a week just being normal people, not being triggered, not being sent flying into emotional turmoil. That's healing. That's healing. And I jokingly said, you'll get to the point where you go, life's kind of boring. Where's all the ups and downs that used to happen? But the next part of that is then the excitement of actually living life. Now, both of these gorgeous people started that process for themselves a few weeks ago. And it's such a revelation to kind of go, I've dealt with 90% of the issues that I've experienced, and now I can just go and live my life and realize that, everyone has ups and downs. I understand what my triggers might be when they occur. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I understand my triggers when they occur. I understand what led to a particular reaction. I can backtrack. I can see, I can name the emotions. I can then go forward and I can talk to the people involved, knowing my place in the process, knowing my responsibilities for my reactions, but also understanding there may be an issue that needs to be addressed, and to address it well, to address it, inverted commas, as an adult, to be able to have a conversation with someone about something that you might have felt really uncomfortable about previously, but you're actually now able to have a conversation without being triggered, without getting angry, without getting spiteful. That's healing. All of these different aspects that you kind of don't even realize are there until you start experiencing them. And you kind of go, the celebration is there's nothing big to celebrate. And that's a huge celebration in itself. To me, that's healing. There are obviously many other facets. There is the physical healing involved in different circumstances. But by now that what I focus on is the emotional traumas that people have experienced and helping them heal through that, not overcome them, not just overcome them, heal through them. There's this line in the sand that you reach through the process. And that line in the sand is when you realize that you're no longer reacting to triggers, but you're perpetuating a habitual behavior. And there's a big difference between those two things. When you realize that you're not actually just being automatically triggered on a deep emotional level to something, and that you are actually having a habitual behavior reaction, that's when the switch starts to really happen. If you can identify the difference between being triggered and having a habitual behavior, you're there. Because then what you're working on is the behavior, the habitual behavior, not the trigger. If there's no trigger, you've healed. If it's a behavior, you've got some work to do. But it's not about healing your emotional state. It's about changing your mindset. It's about rewiring your brain out of certain behaviors. So, I hope you've enjoyed this last part. Healing, it could be said it's an enormous topic. It's kind of not. If you don't get triggered, then you've healed. And the way that you get there for you is those 4 steps that I've been talking about in the last couple of weeks. Clarity. Be clear. Be radically honest with yourself. Become really aware from an unbiased perspective. Oh, I just went blurry. Hello, I just went blurry. I don't know why. Is it my eyes? No, it's the screen. Oh! Am I coming back? Oh, I'm back! Hi! Clarity, which involves radical honesty. Focus, which is to start shifting your focus from what you've always looked at, and to start realizing what works in your life, what doesn't work, and to start working out how to bring more of what does work and to remove what doesn't work. Then you have the cognitive understanding, and that is the experiences that you go through, to actually feel them on a cellular level so you have a deeper understanding of what's really going on. And then we have healing. Now that happens right throughout that process, and as I've said before, it is cyclical. You may think that you're dealing with the same thing over and over again. In fact, what you're dealing with is different aspects of potentially the same thing that all need healing. So I hope that has all made sense. I'm sorry for the funny flibbity gibbet thing that it did right then, but it kind of, not too bad, huh? I was going to say it reflects what's going on in my head, but it's not. I make jokes about, that I'm a bit of a flibbity gibbet, and I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm very clear about what's happening. I'm very clear about the direction I'm going in. I'm very clear about my own healing process, and I'm very clear about the kind of people that I want to help. And I'm very clear about what that looks like. If you want to try that process for yourself, as always, you are welcome to reach out to me. I am still running the promotion through November. So if you're interested, just book an inquiry time. Blah, blah, blah. Book an inquiry call. Find out what I'm about. Find out if the kind of healing that I offer works for you. Be warned though, this is not about me doing the work. This is about you doing the work. I help you a bucket load along the way. I help you identify what it is at the deepest level. You may know the stories about, your traumas and your history and things like that. Very rarely are we disengaged enough, and that's kind of good, from our own situation to be able to pinpoint exactly what is going on and what we are reacting to. And that's where I come in. Being able to drill down in a relatively short period of time and find out exactly what it is that we're looking at for you to be able to work on for yourself. It's pretty special. It's pretty special. Have a fabulous rest of the day or the afternoon. What time is it? It's just gone 4 o'clock in Sydney. I have no idea what time it is over there for UK, Ray. Thank you for joining me. We've had Tanya and Kelly Ray on and someone else who hasn't commented, so I'm not sure who it is, but I've seen your reaction, so I thank you for that. Mwah. Sending you all enormous amounts of radiant love. And I will probably be back in the group again live next week. Not sure what I'm going to talk about. I kind of do. No, kind of do. And I will see you all then. See you.